Hi,
Okay.
this is part two of my final project. Two. So we've talked about kind of the basic stuff. We've talked about globalization, the development dollar, micro learning, first world problems. So we can put all those things together to then talk about the development goals set by the UN. So your first kind of glance, what do you think about those goals?
I think they're good goals. I think they they're maybe too complicated for the process right now. And I mean, we'll talk about that later. But um, they're definitely wonderful motives and wonderful goals and everything. But I think there's just too much to them right now, and it needs to be simplified a little bit more. Ultimately, if we just start from the top and move down alphabetically. Um,
Achieve universal. Well, it's kind of been mixed up. It's kind of mixed up, but yeah. Number one, it's to achieve universal primary education. Um, yeah. So as you know, in Liberia, education's pretty much not really there. I mean, it's there, but hardly. The civil wars have really taken a beating, or education has taken a beating because of those civil wars. They ended in 2003, so they're still trying to recover from that, especially because a lot of little boys were just taken at really young ages, like 10, to be soldiers. So, um, yeah, they're trying to, but they have a really bad problem of a lack of teachers being properly trained, a lack of resources, a lack of space, a lack of funding. So basically, if you want to go to school, you have to be rich. You have to be able to pay for it. Um, and a lot of those schools are religiously based, so there's a lot of Methodist um, primary schools. But what do you think? What do you understand about it?
I I think ultimately it's really hard to dispute the fact that their education is in trouble and something does need to be done. Um, I don't know what exactly has been done because obviously their education still sucks. So it just makes me wonder, like, what else
Yeah,
could we do?
I
And
think
so,
it's just a work in progress. I think they're trying to come up with ideas, but I don't, I'm not there right now, so I don't really know.
right, no, I understand that. And I understand that, things take time and everything like that. But um, also, I understand that, they have, like, no money for it. And there's a lot of corruption with sex for grades and everything like that, which is only um, harming other goals and everything like that we'll talk about. But we just need to somebody needs to go over there and show them how to teach and show them like how to do it and not necessarily want to do it for the money but for the sake of teaching, and people need to give them the money to be able to do it because
Mhm.
it's not cheap. So
Mhm. So like we could send teachers over there to teach for basically nothing. Maybe we could get some retired teachers over there, um, or teachers that people who have their degrees but don't really teach. Maybe they're just like stay-at-home moms or whatever, and we could send them out there to teach. And this could be all over the world too. So they could teach. Meanwhile, we could send Liberian teachers over to get their degrees somehow.
Their student teaching and stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know if we. Yeah, I don't know how to get their degrees. It costs a lot of money. But somehow those things need to be done for good teachers, and they need to stop all the bribery and the sex and the patronage crap. They just need to stop all that stuff and just. I think if they just stopped that stuff in general, like just teach, even with their training, it would be a lot better. Take it one step at a time, like you were saying, simplify it, not be such a broad, unknowing what to do kind of thing. What else?
Well, I think we need to move on because we're already a third to this one.
Okay. Okay, so the next one, yeah, this is in alphabetical order on my website. So the next one is combat HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other diseases. So we have talked a little bit about waste and those kind of problems in Liberia. That's a cause of a lot of diseases, especially cholera. That's a big issue that comes from human waste. And there's a lot of HIV and AIDS because of all the sex issues, and there's a lot of raping and stuff like that. So, and then malaria, and obviously we've talked about Ebola before, and that's a big thing on my website. So we'll just talk a little bit about it. I'll give you a rundown. And we've talked about this before, but it starts off like any other disease. You think that it's just you have a fever, headache, icky muscles, and then it escalates, and people think, oh, maybe I just have malaria or whatever, but they don't. And once they have Ebola, they're vomiting and they're diarrhea everywhere, diarrheaing, I guess maybe you would say it that way, bleeding even, and then you go to the hospital and it probably will be too late and they'll probably be full and you probably won't be able to get into the hospital. That's what it looks like on a lot of the other things that I've seen, is that at all the hospitals, well, first of all, they're not very big anyway, and they're always full, and it's like the same thing with schools. They don't have a lot of trained staff or the resources to take care of all the people. It's just a lot of people in general to take care of. So, and then the hospital would say, go to this hospital, and they would just kind of go back and forth, and the ambulance would get there a few days later, and it's just mass chaos. And so, yeah, it was ugly, and some troops were sent here, or our troops were sent over there to help out. So, what are you thinking about it? Do you know how it even starts?
Yeah, I do. With fruit bats and everything, and getting into the meat and everything. But ultimately, to help out with their health, once again, someone's got to be able to help. And, lots of people are helping. There's lots of missionaries that are going over and volunteering, setting up makeshift hospitals and everything. More can always be done. We're trying our best to eradicate these diseases, and that's all we can do. So.
yeah, yeah, we just need to, I think, educate people and the difference between what cholera is, what Ebola is, what malaria is, so people can themselves better detect it and know, oh, I don't have Ebola, I have cholera, or whatever they have, so that you could have a hospital maybe for that specific disease, or a little clinic just to go there and deliver the medication just for that disease. I don't know. There's a lot of different ideas, but yeah, they have definitely tried to. They definitely treated everyone as if they have Ebola just in case, and yeah, I think that might have been a good idea, but I don't know. I wonder if that did more harm than good.
I don't know.
But
Guess we'll find out. So these next couple we're gonna kind of go through kind of quickly, just because they're smaller and
well, we can go
kind of.
through them a little bit at a time because then we have another video.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure we have enough time.
Okay. So environmental sustainability is the next. Oh, hold on.
We will finish in part
Yeah, we're gonna cut this one a
part
little bit
3.
short.